Hey folks, this is Odin, and as most of you all know, that I am from the Baton Rouge area, and tonight, I'm sad to say that most of Baton Rouge and Gonzales area is flooded. So I'm going to report a little bit on these areas for people who are interested in that. Here's a little slideshow of some of the flooding going on. This is a shelter. Picture of a shelter they have in place. All the streets are flooded. It's going to be very difficult to get supplies out to these people, and just supplies in general, because most of the stores are flooded as well. Of course, the National Guard is here doing what they can. And it's flooding in areas that have never flooded before, so 9 out of 10 of these people do not have flood insurance. Myself, I do have flood insurance. I've always carried it, so it's just best to carry it. In my opinion, it's like $400 a year where I live at, which is not a bad price considering the depth of this. Look at the water up to the roof of these houses. And I-10 and I-12 are both flooded and shut down right now. Coffins popping up out of the ground. That happened in New Orleans when Katrina hit as well. There was also curfews in place. There's not really a lot of crimes going on, so to speak. Like New Orleans had a lot of crime and stuff. In Baton Rouge right now, there's not really a whole lot of crime. Just people just trying to get the hell out of it, I guess. And really, they don't have nowhere else to go. A lot of them are just, they're homeless now. And the same thing happened when Hurricane Gustav came. People lost everything. They didn't have flood insurance, so what they done is they just walked away from their houses. They stopped paying their house notes, and they just let the bank take the house back. And to this day, those houses are abandoned. No one lives there. Alright, this is the parish right below Baton Rouge, Ascension Parish. The town of Gonzales is located in there. And these red outlines depict some of the town areas. This is like Gonzales. I think this may be like Sorrento. Down here is Donaldsonville. And this is the flooding areas. And what's going on is the water is coming from Baton Rouge, coming down and flooding these areas. And it's stopping here. This is the Mississippi River. Of course, it's gonna drain into the river, so people living below the river are not going to experience any flooding. They do show little spots here, but this is like the river road, where it just always floods on the river road. So, and when I say flood, I mean water just gets on the road. It's not like 3 or 4 feet deep. It's just a little bit water, but they captured all of that in here. So I just want to point that out, that and a lot of people right now, they think it's over, but it's not over, because that water's still coming down. It's coming down through the parishes, coming down from Baton Rouge, going into Ascension, and it's just draining and going down. And here's a current radar, a picture of the state, so you can get a better idea of what's happening. Even this waterway up here is going to have to drain. It's going to drain into the river. Going to come down. It's going to cause the Mississippi River to come up a little bit, but it's not going to be a significant rise. The river's not high at this point, so here's a better picture of this is Ascension, and this is the Baton Rouge area. And like I said, the water's coming down, draining from here, going into this parish, flooding all the bayous and lakes in here, until it finally reaches the river, which is about right here. And when it gets into the river, it just drains straight into the Gulf. So actually the people below that's living in these areas always flood for hurricanes, but now these areas are going to be safe and these areas flooded. And there's a lot of photos. You can go on to Google and type in Baton Rouge flood. You'll get a lot of different pictures. But basically, almost all of Baton Rouge is flooded at this point. It's very sad, and people are losing everything they own. And you know, like I said before, it's gonna be hard to get supplies out to these folks. They're gonna have to evacuate eventually while the whole town gets rebuilt, because there's not any trucks that's gonna be able to get through this water to bring supplies. You gotta consider this. This is something that has to be thought about. With I-10 and I-12 closed, they just won't be able to get food and water like they should. Right now they're getting it through the government and helicopters and so on and so forth. But it's just gonna be a point where they're gonna have to evacuate them. Like what they did in Katrina, they evacuated a lot of evacuees from Katrina in New Orleans. They evacuated to Baton Rouge, and now they flooded again. So they're gonna have to evacuate. They maybe send some to Houston and so on and so forth, maybe to Lower Ascension, the area I was describing here, like in this area here. But they're gonna have to leave Baton Rouge. It's just gonna have to rebuild, and this is gonna take a long time. It's not gonna be something that's gonna happen overnight. And I'm glad to see this little picture right here. It reminds me of something. There is no cell phone service right now. AT&T. If you have AT&T service and you live in this area, you don't have service. You can't make calls. I have AT&T myself, and I can't make a call right now, or receive a call for that matter. And that's something else that's worrying a lot of people. They can't call their loved ones to tell them they're okay, and they can't receive phone calls. So I just wanted to let everybody know what's going on here. Myself, I am okay. I didn't get flooded. I still have electricity and internet. I don't have phone service. And the areas that they're predicting to get flooded, mostly this area here, when the water starts draining and receding, I'm not going to be affected by any of this either. So I guess in one way I'm blessed to say that. And I do hope and pray that the people who are getting flooded manage to get out of here and figure something out. I would not rely on the government to help me if I was one of them, because it's just not going to happen. I've seen it so many times. You know, they think the government is going to help. FEMA's the answer. It's not the answer. Sandbags is also not the answer, because a sandbag might cover a foot. You seen some of that water over the roof? What the hell is a sandbag gonna do for these people? You know what I mean? The animal shelters are full, and it's just a lot of water coming down right now, folks. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a great day. Peace.